invest $5 million in it. It's like, okay, so maybe I should learn a little bit about Bitcoin, and also Ripple was mentioned at that time. So I took a look at the white paper. I understood it pretty quickly, actually. So because I had my private key since 1998, PGP private key. So I understand the symmetric encryption. I'm always an IT guy, so I understood the technology relatively smoothly. But then the concept works. I said, okay, I gotta find out if there's a community behind it for it to work. So I went to a conference in Las Vegas in 2013, December. I met Matt Rozak, Vitalik, Charlie Lee, Brock Pierce, a bunch of same crew, same guys that you see in conferences today. I said, wow, this is a really group of nice guys. If this guy's involved in this industry, I think this community will work. So after that conference, I went home and quit my job. I didn't know what I was going to do next. And then doing exchange was one of the obvious things, but doing payments was also very obvious at the time. So big pay was quite big as well. And then 2015, but I didn't start my own company right away. I joined a couple of different companies just to learn the ropes. And then 2015, after I left Bitcoin, again, the concept of starting my own exchange came up, but the market was still too small for crypto to crypto. I think Binance was already there, and they were doing decent volume, but still pretty small. 2017, we revisited the idea again. We said, okay, now the time is ready. The market is big enough. The existing players have good volume. And we think I've been in trading system for 20 years, and we had a product already, and we said our product can probably be a bit better, and we'll try to do better customer service, and so that's how it started. So it's actually a gradual progression. It's not like one day, a year and a half, or 6 months, we just got there, so it took a while.
I think the entrepreneurial spirit that you carried and that you took off with in taking your time to learn, I think there's a lesson in there for the children at home that are thinking about becoming entrepreneurs. But so for everyone kind of to hear and listening in, what advice would you give people out there that want to forge that same path, that said, hey look, I didn't rush right in, I was able to judge that the timing wasn't right, so I was going to go work other places and learn other things. What advice would you have for the aspiring entrepreneur, those that were at your hackathon over the weekend?
Sure. So I think there's two advices I want to give, because I think number one, you just got to start doing it. You just got to start building. You got to start executing. Timing is a luck thing. You never get timing exactly right. But if you keep trying, at one of those times, you try 10 times, one of those times you'll have good timing. So even the story that I just laid out, I didn't plan that 5 years ago. So I didn't know this was going to happen, so none of that was planned. It was just that the way we keep trying and keep doing things. The other second critical part is learn how to learn. So a lot of guys like they finish school and think they finish learning. They don't read a lot. They don't look at other things. I think in today's world, things change so quickly, and new things keep coming up. You really got to learn how to learn things quickly. So you got to keep learning, and you got to keep improving the way you learn. So absolutely, you will make mistakes, you will fail in some senses, but the failures are part of the success. If you don't fail 10 times, you're not going to know what to do on that one time when the opportunity comes. There will be missed opportunities. There will be opportunities you catch, but you just got to keep doing it. So I told all the hackathon participants yesterday, it doesn't matter whether you're the winner or not. And we're not the best judges for winning or not. Some of the ideas that didn't win yesterday may turn out to be really great successes in the future. So just keep building, keep learning.
That's great.
Yeah. So actually, I have a question for you, which is you've been doing the traditional finance for 35 years, and you have 2 decades from Goldman Sachs. A lot of people ask me questions about, okay, what are the price actions going to be? What do I predict the prices will be? And how should they do trading, because they're mostly our clients. But I actually don't know. You're the expert on that. So I actually want to have you share with our audience, what's your opinion on the price action? What do you see in 2019 for a trading price perspective?
I think one of the benefits of having a multi-decade career, I guess that ages me. I probably should be careful with that. But I got to understand the mechanics of traditional capital markets, and I think we at Cumberland, we are one of the largest traders of cryptocurrencies in the world. We're also an early adopter and watching. So it was natural for us, being in the derivative markets for 25 years, to cross over into crypto. Now, I had the benefit of covering DRW for 25 years at Goldman Sachs, and it's one of the largest principal trading firms in the world, where we trade principally in most liquid asset classes around the globe. So I got to see all of the best principal trading strategies. They were all, anyone that's trading, the big firms that are trading crypto were my clients in some other place. And so when I left to launch my own business and eventually sold that, I ended up as the global head of business development at Cumberland at DRW. And it was to basically deploy evaluate the evolutionary technology of blockchain and how to take principal trading techniques to crypto. And they're different, they're uniquely different. The traditional capital markets ecosystem for trading, it was very patterned. All the exchanges had the same interfaces, they all used fixed. So algorithms could all work the same way. In crypto, each exchange was constructed differently. Some had web sockets. There was very little fix when I started, and a number of exchanges were on native APIs. So traditional algorithms in coding connectivity didn't work the same way. As a matter of fact, when we started deploying algorithms, it wouldn't work because of the disharmonization of the connectivity. So it takes a different view there. And I will tell you, when I looked at this when I was leaving Goldman Sachs, I was benefited. I'm the luckiest person in the world. My path is much different than yours. I was not a technologist. I came from a derivatives background. And I got a project that they gave me at Goldman Sachs coming through regulation, where we had to combine our client-facing businesses into one to release the excess capital to drive return on equity with the new regulatory capital requirements. And it turned out I was assigned I was responsible for the global vision of pulling this project off. It was a technology project, so I reported to the CTO of Goldman Sachs for 2.5 years to rewrite our client technology. And he'd come to me when we were done at work every day, and he'd throw these and say, I'm going to recommend Goldman invest in this one. It was like, blockchain. And he'd throw another one on and say, blockchain. I'm like, you better learn out what this blockchain is. So I started studying it, and it made no sense to me. I read the Satoshi white paper, this is 2010 into 11. I read it like 12 times, and I'm like, I don't understand what this is. And so finally he showed me a video, and it scared me to death. I walked home to my wife, and she's like, you're really upset, what's wrong? And I said, I think I just saw the end of the world. And she said, what are you talking about? And I said, there's this new technology, it's called blockchain, and we're going to take our money that I earned as a senior MD at Goldman, and we're going to digitize it, we're going to put it into a computer. No, we're going to decentralize it across millions of computers. And I said, I can tell you how this movie's going to end. They're going to digitally and decentrally take all my money, we're going to die in a bread line. This is the worst idea I've ever heard in my life. So out of fear and anxiety about not missing this, I started studying it. And I started really digging into it, and I started seeing, I had light bulbs start going off of use cases, and I started seeing the efficacy of the technology, and I started buying Bitcoin at $1, and so in a few months I was into Bitcoin, and in a few months after that, I said, I'm going to do this for a living. I'm not going to miss this. This is what's going to make this different is this is going to be a movement that's driven by people. And people are going to bring the power of this to the technology. And that really clicked for me when I went to see Matt Rozek speak at the blockchain event in Chicago, when my programmers said, and I said, I believe in him. I believe he's got this vision. So what I took, in this was the traditional capitalist, how to build the mechanics to get velocity of money through. So now you see the price action. Traditional capital markets are institutional driven, and they provide price discovery for retail. Our ecosystem started as a retail-driven economy where the institutions aren't evaluating how to get in. So the price action is uniquely different. It moves differently. The technology works differently. And it's become, crypto 1.0 was pretty easy to trade and make money in a bull market. But it's become very challenging, but there's really good, interesting things to come. I'm as optimistic today as I was when I first bought my first Bitcoin, that this is an evolution that is now just beginning.
So for 2019, from a trading perspective, right, for Cumberland as a relatively large institutional trader in this space, what are the challenges that you see, or what are the advices you give to other traders?
I think the biggest thing that we've seen in this is that the morale of the ecosystem, and I don't have to tell you, those of you that are holding on currencies, if you haven't been in the trading community, the anxiety that November and December caused. And I had a lot of people that weren't really believers, they weren't really in, and they said, you know, is this it? Is this the end? And I actually said, no, if this was a sporting event, the national anthem has just finished playing, the game is just beginning. And I think that the price is a scorecard for trading, but it does not represent what goes on behind the scenes in the ecosystem of the community. So from a trading perspective, when you see consolidation like we're going through right now in price and technology, everybody now, the building has not slowed down, it's only increased. So what we tell people in trader, what we do is and I wrote this article in CoinDesk at their end, I said, if you're building it, keep building. Because this is a movement that has really now just started. And what we see is that like when you crossed over, you saw things. When I crossed over, I saw things. What I saw, I sat on the desk at Lehman Sunday 10.5 years ago, and they called us in and they said, we're going to have to trade, Lehman's going to go under on Monday, and we're going to have to pare off debt, and we're like, we don't have exposure to Lehman, why would we have to trade Lehman debt? They said, well, because the rest of the street does, and if you want to be with JP Morgan as the only two banks left standing in the world, you know, keep it. We're like, okay, we get it. So after trading this debt on Sunday and carrying it off, we saw all these young professionals that didn't understand what was going on, and they were looking, their eyes looked like they were rolling back in their heads like slot machines. They didn't understand it. One youngster finally got the courage up, and he said, is this the end? Are we going to be okay? Is this the end? And in my mind, I'm like, I don't know. We've never seen anything like this. And, you know, no, this could be the end of the world. But the leader came out and I said, yeah, you know what? You're going to be okay. And we're going to be okay. But somewhere out there in the future, there's going to be a better way. And roll the clock forward through the evolution of people investing in education and blockchain and leaders committing their tiny resources, entrepreneurial. You see these exchange forces come out. The price action's going down. We don't raise the, as one of the largest trading firms in the world, we don't really care that much about the price. We care about the fundamental of the work that's going on out there. The price action doesn't matter because of you. I left to go into this because of you people in this room. We believed in you. This is the better way. That's what, I just didn't have that message to give them when we were talking to them about Lehman. So we come in and we trade what's there. We try to provide the best liquidity we can to the ecosystem, and we will continue to do that and work on the trading mechanics. The quality of the exchange technology is real, it's becoming real, and we believe that the market structure will be able to support that velocity of money with all the work that's being done in the ecosystem as we get through this consolidation in 19.
That is pretty good actually. So for any of the guys who are out there who are really worried about price, this is one of our largest traders, and this is what they're think.
That is, and we're on most days when my feet hit the floor in the morning and I wake up. My first thought that comes to my head is, I wish I would have gotten up an hour earlier. That's how excited I am to go into this every day. So you have built in 18 months something that has become, in my mind, a little bit of a global phenomenon. It was what I envisioned in the movement of this. I refer to you lovingly as, this is CZ and Binance Nation. This is when you see the following and the energy that goes in this, and I see the people running around in Binance. I wear my Binance shirt now, once a week. If you wear your Cumberland stuff, we become all good friends. But the growth has been really in your organization has been so big and so decentralized. So how many employees do you have now? Tell us about the Binance organization.
Sure. I think today we have 401. So we just passed 400 a couple of days ago. The Binance team is very decentralized, so we're spread around 43 different countries, and we also have a lot of Binance angels. They're volunteers helping us; they don't get paid. So if we include angels, it's a little bit larger. We come from very different backgrounds, very different cultures, different places. So everyone has and the working culture is a little bit mixed. Myself, I come from I'm a Chinese Canadian, grew up working in the U.S., etc. So my working style is more U.S. Chinese combined centric. So that carries a lot of the culture into the organization because kind of my culture kind of carries into the organization a little bit. We have a lot of issues now. Internal communication, giving a distributed team of 400 people all over the world, communicating efficiently is very difficult. And coordinating things is a little bit challenging. But one of the things we do very well to overcome that is the passion in the team. So everyone's very passionate, everyone believes it. I think we met a lot of people from the Binance team. We have a lot of issues that we're still working through, but and I'm not a very process-driven guy. I hate processes, I hate bureaucracy, I hate a lot of rules, organization. So I really like the type of organizations like, for example, Netflix that said, okay, for your reimbursement, just do what's appropriate. And for GM, they set up the dressing code, right? They shrink like a 10-page document into 2 words. They just dress appropriately. And so I like those kind of things. So I like to just use your own judgment and do the right thing. I think we strongly, we look for people who have the right ethical values. There's a lot of temptations working for Binance because we're very close to the flow of money. So we look for people who want to do the right thing. And most people joining Binance will take a pay cut, actually. So if the guy's not willing to take a pay cut, usually we say no, no matter how good they are. So we've grown very slowly. We are actually, at 400, we're still much smaller than some of the other exchanges, the top 10 exchanges in the world. So some of them have over 1,000 or 2,000 employees. And, but luckily, we never had any layoffs. So we've grown very slowly, very selectively. We don't have any layoffs. We never fired people in huge chunks. People have left, but the voluntary leaving turnover is about less than 3% per year, which is very, very low for our market. So that's kind of the market, the Binance team.
And it's so challenging to harmonize a decentralized global structure. I tip the cap. So many people on your team have become like family to us as our relationship grows. I have to compliment you. You have the smartest and nicest team to deal with. It's been a joy.
So I want to give credit to our team. Like for example, today there's many people make the mistake of coming to me asking me for a decision, like from outside of Binance. But inside Binance, I actually don't make any decisions. I make very few. And for example, this conference, I just said, well, maybe we should do a conference. And then I didn't hear about it for like 6 months, or for 2 months or so. And then here we are. This is the conference that's going on. I just get told where to go and where to be. So that's all I do.
Well, the culture is working. So as we go to in the final stretch of our chat here, I think one of the things that we probably will get asked, both of us for the rest of this weekend, and probably for the rest of our lives at this point in time, is let's talk about the move from 17 into 18 and the price action versus the build out. I think everyone would be interested in your view on where we came from, where we are, and where we're going. The first question is, in 17, when we saw the inflection point in crypto, did we just get too far out ahead of ourselves? Let's talk about that.
Sure. I actually think that the market always overreacts. So it doesn't matter if it's on the low side or the high side. Because the market is not one person, it's mass psychology, right? So there's usually like 10% early adopters or the early movers that will move first. And then the like 20 to 30% sort of middle adopters that will come in. And then the late adopters who are probably still using feature phones and stuff like that, right? So they will move last. And it's the same thing in any market that some guys, like some institutional traders who are very quick, may move first in the traditional markets especially. And then you have the retail traders that follow. So I think last year it was definitely an overshoot. I personally think, this is my personal opinion, so I could very well be wrong. I believe in end of 2017, we definitely overshoot on the high side, right? So there's a lot of guys rushing in very simple projects with a very simple white paper will be able to raise millions and tens of millions of dollars. And the market's just going crazy, and that's not healthy. And then of course, as everybody rushed in, some guys, once that massive rushing finishes, the price begins to decline. And then projects face hard times, the price drops, and then it goes to the other cycle. But I think right now, my personal view is that we are actually overshooting on the low side now. So now that we've been in bear market for a very long stretch, probably close to the longest history for Bitcoin right now. While there's more people in the industry, there's more people working in the industry, there's more people attending conferences, there's more conferences going on. And every conference is a few thousand people. So we actually completely sold out the tickets for this conference. And so I think there's actually a lot of builders are building really innovative technologies in this space. And some of them will take time to ramp up. But the builders are building, so we're seeing a lot more development in this space. So I actually think that we're probably overshooting on the lower side. But again, I could be wrong. It's mass psychology. So as a mass psychology, as a group, as a population, we don't react instantly, and there's no single decision. Right? So there's small decisions that piece together. So I think that what's very comfortable for me is I actually don't look at the price at all. So I can go on for weeks without looking at the price. Usually somebody tells me the price moved, and then I take a look. They say, oh, the price of BNB went up, and the price of BNB went down, then I take a look. And so I actually don't really track the price. But what we do is we focus on building. So I think I'm very, very confident that this space will get so much bigger. We're just going to be prepared for when that happens. And so that right now what we do is we want to be prepared for when the chance comes again. We will be in a much better place to take advantage of it. So we're doing a lot of different stuff, right? So some of them are actually most of the stuff Binance are doing right now are not profit generating. So we have the main exchange, but we have like Binance Info, Binance Academy, Binance Charity, Binance Research, Binance Labs. All of those other things we're doing, they're not very profit generating right now. But we have a very long-term view in this industry. Speaking of Binance Charity, I want to sneak in one slide, which they asked me to. So if we can give one slide up, it might take them a couple of minutes. I don't know if they are very well prepared. For Binance Charity, we're moving very heavily in Africa. There's two goals there. So number one is to spread cryptocurrency. But I think more important than just donating cryptocurrency to other people is actually in the process we will be educating people about cryptocurrency. I think that education is going to be more beneficial to the people receiving the cryptocurrency throughout their lifetime. So they probably don't realize that now, but that education is really, really important. So I view Binance Charity today as more of an educational platform than more than general. But we do donate, we do help people out. Today for one BNB, you can feed a child in Africa for a month for one BNB. Right, so this is not even one Bitcoin. This is one BNB. Right, so we're doing a bunch of school projects in Africa that's in this area. I guess I think the slide will come later in one of the other talks, which is fine. So for any guys who want to help out, if you donate one BNB, you help one child in Africa for 1 month. So there you go.
And I will match all the BNB donations from this crowd. So we should start this going.
Wow! Thank you.
So one of the things that we have a very similar view at Cumberland. Yes, we are a very large trader between 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, principally, and we provide a lot of liquidity to the street. But we changed our mission. The end of our mission statement is to help the ecosystem grow and evolve in a responsible and sustainable way, because we are all in this together. And so we run our DRW Foundation to do things the same way. So I'm serious about the BNB match. So we'll have to think about this a little bit in this crowd here today. So and then I'll have to tell my wife. But so in that vein, as we look to, we're integrated right into the middle of the ecosystem all the time, just like you are. What are the things that the ecosystem, what more can we do to drive education, connectivity, technology, projects, bringing people together? What more can we do either individually or together to drive this community together? Because that is a core of our focus at Cumberland.
Right. I think basically, as you and us are already doing, we're going to be the positive force in this industry. We're going to educate people. We're going to lead people in the right ways. With freedom comes a lot of chaos. So there are scammers, there are fraudsters that happens in this industry, and as an industry, we get attacked for those bad actors. So we actually got to actively fight with bad actors ourselves. Binance.com right now is a more centralized platform, so we actually have the responsibility, and because we can, and we have the responsibility to do it. Some people don't like it, and they want to go fully decentralized, and that's a discussion later on in one of those panels, centralization versus decentralization. But I think some of the things that Binance is doing right now is we want to open up the fiat gateways so that we actually help people to move money between fiat and crypto or vice versa. But right now, most of the money is actually in fiat. So that's why we launched Binance Jersey a couple of days ago. We are working with the Singapore parties and regulators. We want to do all the fiat properly. We want to do all the proper KYC. We're actually the most compliant organization. Actually, we were talking about this morning. So we're probably one of the two most compliant organizations. But you guys, everybody view you guys as the most compliant already. But some people have misconceptions about Binance. Binance is actually the most compliant organization. And on the flip side of that, so basically if you look at crypto to crypto in the center, on the flip side of that is the decentralized land, where we do have Binance DEX, which is coming up in a couple. We will release the testnet in about a couple of weeks. So, and in that, even during the testnet stages, we'll support hardware wallets natively. It will be a very fast on-chain decentralized exchange. That's for advanced users that can keep your computer safe, keep your wallet safe. If you prefer to hold your own coins, that would be a place to do it. So we want to provide more choices for the industry to grow. Other than that, we are investing a lot in the ecosystem. We're doing conferences. You guys are doing conferences. Your conference was great in September. I'm looking forward to the June one. Did I announce that already?
You're good. You're the captain.
Right. So I think basically it's just we gotta keep building. We gotta keep leading the industry. And when we go to the next bull run, it's gonna be massive. I think. So I don't know when it will be. I don't know if you're already in it, but we're just gonna be prepared.
Well, we're looking forward to making markets and provide liquidity in both Singapore and Jersey as well. So, as we go to wrap up this, I think everybody would be upset with me if I didn't ask. We should have a discussion. What do we see now for 2019 and 2020 before we get to the rest of the experts for the day?
I believe the ramping up is always slower than coming down. So I think in 2015-16 we saw the ramp up slowly. I don't want to make any predictions, but it may take a lot of effort to sort of just revive building all the confidence back. But I think basically we just got to continue to build. I think 2018 was a really tough year from a price action. I think 2019 hopefully will be more stabilized. The price is okay for now, and we just kind of continue to build. I think we're going to see a lot more builders in 2019, and we're going to grow very actively. We're going to host more hackathons, more incubation programs to help the builders build. So we just want to slowly build the industry one by one. Yeah.
That's great, and I think that that was my theme coming into the year end. Is if you started building it, keep building it, because as they wrote in the manifesto many years ago, arise, Binance Nation, the game is just beginning. Thank you, CZ.
Thank you so much.